welcome back to another episode of the Just Keep It Real Your podcast. I'm your host, Makayla, and thank you guys for tuning in to the show today. First, guys, we want to give you guys an update. I did drop the first episode of season 2, Accountability with my friend Jordan. That episode is posted out, and you guys are more than welcome to go like, share, comment, also tune into it. And also, there is a poll in there with a question: do you think accountability is something you can be taught? Make sure you guys vote, and I love to hear you guys' feedback. But without further introduction, I do have a very special guest joining me today on the show. We do attend the same church. She is more than just a church member to me. She is more than that to me. She is a big sister to me. Help me to welcome my dear friend, my dear sister, Miss Jaliscia Pearce. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for tuning in today and being a part of the show. Thank you so much for just taking time out of your busy day and just being here to just share your thoughts and just being able to talk about this topic we're going to get into. Yeah. But I just want to give you time to introduce yourself and give an introduction of who you are, what do you like, what do you do. But I just want to give you that time to introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, so definitely. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast platform today. I am Jaliscia Pearce. I am the CEO and the founder of Jaliscia Unique Event Designs, where we do planning with everyone in mind by creating memories of long-lasting love. I am the wife of Mr. Carl Pearce, the CEO and founder of Bright Ideas Entertainment, along with Such and Such Radio. You can find us on all platforms. Please go like and subscribe. I am the mother of 3 wonderful kids. My oldest being 12 years old with Jonathan the second. The second is Carl Pearce. He's 4. And Crystalyn, she's 2. Me as a person, I am a national certified medical assistant, a business owner. I'm a person that strives to be whatever God has for me, what is destined within my journey. I am the only child with my mother. I am the baby of 8 with my father. It's been a very, very long journey coming from where I'm at versus where I come from. I am a very thankful and genuine person to where my life has taught me a lot of lessons where a lot of people would pretty much say life be lifing.
Mm-hmm. It do.
I've come through that. So yeah, I have a lot coming up. So everybody just watch either the Such and Such platform or Jaliscia Unique Event Designs, where also, like I said, you can find us on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also YouTube.
Alrighty, you guys, and don't forget, at the end of the episode, I will drop all of the social media platforms for Jaliscia and Such and Such Radio. You make sure you guys go ahead and tune in, show that some love. Also, as well as my social media will be in the description below as well. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this topic. And it's funny, you in your introduction, you were talking about where you come from, which also kind of pushes into what we're going to be talking about, which is a change in direction.
Mm-hmm.
So when people hear the word change of direction, a lot of people think it means like, okay, we're changing direction. Some people think about it as like metaphorically, like, okay, well, we got to change direction. The car is going this way, we got to change it, go in another direction.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear the word change in direction, what does that mean to you?
When I hear the word change in direction, that registers to me as a change of your mindset. A change of you sitting still, listening to God's voice, and actually praying to God, like, God, show me the way. Show me how that I can be better or look more like you. Show me how I can change who I am for a better person, but a better person that's reflecting the image of you. When I hear those 2 words, it's more of you as a person saying, I know I'm not perfect. I know there's some things that needs to align up in life. I know there are some things that need to be fixed. And I know there are some things that need to be changed. So when you do that first step of acknowledging to yourself that some change needs to happen, then that's when you can also rely on God's word, God's directions, God's voice, because they say the anointing is in the instructions.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you hear that, then that's when your direction can begin to change. When you start not leaning to your own understanding, but leaning on God for His understanding, His direction, His instructions. So that kind of brings it back full force to just pretty much acknowledging first, there's some things need to be changed. And directions is just going the way that you're supposed to go. Changing some things about yourself for the better. And just focusing on your future and where you're trying to go.
That's good. I actually agree 100% with you. A change, well, when I hear the word change of direction, it's just like, because you said a lot that like ties into what I was going to say. So I was just like, oh, how can I reword what I want to say? but it's sitting when a change of direction is like, you know, we were just talking about this like 2 weeks ago in Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the head has to change. Then once your head changes, then everything else will fall into place. Right. Because your mind has to do a shift. Like, and it also tells in the word we have to be renewed in our minds.
That's right.
So your mind has to be renewed for everything else to fall into place. Mm-hmm. But when you think of change of direction, once your mind is now in agreement to what God is telling you needs to change, everything else can just follow suit. It's easier. But when you do it, your direction is not always going to be forward. Sometimes you got to go backwards to go forward. Here I am, quote, Bishop.
That's right.
That's a small joke, y'all. Our bishop preached a sermon about going forwards backwards, and I was remembering that. But sometimes you do got to go back to go forward. But sometimes your direction may not look straight, and you don't want to go sideways. You don't want to get off the road. But your direction is not always going to be the way you see your direction.
Exactly.
And you got to be comfortable, and you got to understand that, okay, you know what? I got to be okay. I'm okay. God got me. I'm fine. This is just a change I got to do. And we go through seasons. Every season is the same. Every season is going to be different. So you got to be able, and you got to be open to change.
Right. Exactly. That's the main key. You got to be open.
You got to be open to change your direction sometimes, because your direction you think you're going is may not be where you're supposed to be going. But when you hit change of direction, you got to be, to sum up what I feel a change of direction means to me, is like your mind has to change, and you have to be open to change. Right,
exactly. And you have to also be okay with sometimes going back to the beginning, going back to step one, and being okay with that. Because sometimes we'll think like, oh my God, I'm falling backwards. Like I'm back at platform 1. Like I was just at step 5. Now I'm back at 1. Sometimes going back to step 1 is not a bad thing, because sometimes you need to go back through 2 and 3 and 4 before you got to 5 to reassure yourself, because maybe it's something you missed in between those steps.
That is true. That is 100% true.
So sometimes going back to 1 is not always bad. Sometimes it's meant for your good to go back to step 1, so that when you go back through those things, you're even much stronger whenever you get to step 5. And now you can push on more because you done corrected your errors.
Yes, that 100% agree. Which ties it, I think we kind of touched into it, but the other question I was going to ask, but what does change look like for you? So when do you know it's time for you to make a change? How does that look like for you?
I know when it's time to make a change when I feel myself comfortable. So when I'm comfortable and I don't feel nothing, the Holy Spirit is not tugging at me and saying, or it's like my mind is not still going and spinning on how I can do better, or how I can be better, or how something that I'm doing can be better. If I'm just at a standstill and I don't hear God's voice, and I'm not thinking forward or trying to move forward, and it's just I'm just going through the everyday things and going through the same repetition over and over and over and over again, and I've gotten comfortable, it's time for a change. Because God never puts us in a position to just stand still.
Yeah, true.
He wants us to move forward. He said we are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. So if you are the head, you're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to flourish in whatever it is He has for you. So whenever you're just still and you're comfortable, you're not flourishing. You're not moving forward, which means you're not operating in your full gift. You're not operating in what God has for you. So at that point, whenever I feel myself just content and comfortable and not focusing on how I can move forward, that's when I know it's time for a change.
That's amazing. It's awesome to hear that you're in tune with the Holy Spirit, and you know and you're like, so you're in alignment to where, like, you know, something, I'm just sitting here, this ain't nothing happening, I don't feel challenged. You know, like, okay, so
yes,
time for a switch. And that's good. Yes. That is an amazing thing to have. That's an amazing thing to have. Because I remember when I was just like previously, not gonna go into full detail, but I was at a previous job where I was comfortable. I feel like I stayed longer than what God wanted me to stay, because I became so comfortable.
Right.
And when you become comfortable, you let your guard down a lot.
Yes.
You let your, like, cause you're so content. You feel like this is the best I'm gonna get, but which is not true. Like you said, God wants us to move forward. He has more for us. And I didn't, like I said, we talked about a change of direction. We just keeping it real. I was so content that I didn't want to change. I was happy. I felt like I was happy where I was, and I wasn't looking at growth. I was looking at money, because from where I started, I worked my way up to a managerial position. But in that job, so much happened to me within that time frame, and then like I sacrificed some stuff to get to that point. Like I stopped going. I was still attending church, but I wasn't in church like that because I was always at work. Which that's another thing. When God's not in it, it's gonna fall apart. It ain't gonna stay not one bit. But it got to the point where I was forced to change, because like I said, if you don't want to change, God will make it change it for you.
He sure will. He will make you uncomfortable.
He will make you, exactly. He's like, oh, so you don't want to change? Cool. I got it from here. And it got to the point where I was
very uncomfortable.
It got so uncomfortable. Like towards the end of that journey, things were just so bad. I was stressed out all the time. I was crying. It was so much happening to me. And I was just like, I just want out. I just don't want to do this no more. And it's like when I got in alignment and I was like, okay, you know what? I changed. God took care of it. He took care of me after I made that decision. Like, you know what, Lord, I trust you. But also during that time, He showed me how I hindered my own self, because I didn't want to change.
He will. He definitely will. Because whenever when things are being shaken up and you're getting into an uncomfortable state, and it's starting to, like you said, stress you out, and things will begin to like drive you crazy, and you having headaches, or you start having not physical and emotional things going on, to where it's like, okay, God, I gotta remove myself. But in the midst of saying, okay, I gotta remove myself, just like for one experience that I had, I was working for a family member, not going in a whole lot of details, but working for a family member, doing every and anything that I can to make sure that it flourished, and just there every day, constantly being the front face that majority of people saw versus not seeing hers, and taking care of a lot of stuff that could create shame for the company, but they saw my face, so my image was what they saw when they thought of this company whenever stuff was being taken care of. But even though they knew who the business owner was. But whenever I was told to my face that you're not doing your job, excuse me? I'm not doing my job. At that time, I was having headaches every single day going home. I was stressed out. My hair was falling out. It was taking a toll on me physically. So without even a doubt, I knew God was making me uncomfortable within that situation. So even without thinking, it was on a Friday. I'll never forget. It was on a Friday evening. And when I went home, and then I came back that Monday morning, I packed all my stuff up on my desk. I put everything in a box. I left my keys and everything on the desk with my resignation letter, and I just left. Not having another job to go to, not thinking about God, how my bills gonna get paid. Because at that point, when God made me so uncomfortable to where it started affecting my health, because God said I am healed. So I knew that wasn't the Spirit of God making me excuse me, making me sick, making my hair fall out. I knew that wasn't of God. So I knew if I removed myself from that, because he made me so uncomfortable, on that other side, he's going to take care of me. He's going to take care of my child. He's going to take care of my bills. He's going to make sure I'm fed. So whenever we act within the change of when we're comfortable, and we just removing ourselves instantly from that situation, God's gonna take care of you no matter what. Because it's the reason why he made you uncomfortable in that situation.
Very much.
So within him making you uncomfortable, he knows all, he sees all, he knows everything before it even happens. So he's gonna take care of you the rest of the way. You just have to lean not to your own understanding, but lean on him for everything, and just to know he gonna take care of you. So when I left that job, not knowing where money was gonna come from, God had already had a whole nother job lined up. Within, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I was working at a whole nother job, making way more money. So it's like within that change, it was just all the part of God making me and showing me, I need you to trust me and lean on me and not your own understanding. So that's what a lot of things that people have to think in a spiritual eye, see with a spiritual eye, and think with a spiritual mind where they're at when it's time for change and redirectioning.
It's funny how your story sounds. It's like we experienced the same thing, because like when you were talking about your job, that's kind of what I went through. Didn't know where money was coming from. Wow. Through how God still kept me through it.
Still keep you.
And then like literally in July, got blessed with another one, and I was just like, amazing. More, it's just so. It was the way he did it. Like just listening, it just makes me feel grateful, a sense of gratitude. Not even a sense of come at a place of gratefulness.
Yes.
That when you get in alignment with the change,
right,
it's flourish better. It's like when you're not fighting the change,
that's it.
It's better. It's so much.
That's what makes it hard when you fight it.
Exactly. Like don't fight it. Just get in agreement with it.
That's it.
You may not know. Just get in agreement with it. Sometimes we being real. You just gotta I'm like, okay, don't know how this is gonna happen. No, right. I know it's gonna happen though.
Whereas they be like, Lord, I surrender. I give up. I surrender.
I give up. I'm in alignment with what you want to do. That actually ties into like what I was gonna ask you. You've already told your story about when you had a change. That was an amazing story, which kind of goes into what we said. Why do you feel a change was needed in your direction?
A change was needed because, for one, like I said, I got comfortable, and it started affecting me physically, emotionally, and mentally, to where it was so much stuff going on, so much stuff I was dealing with when it came to family-wise, and then having to deal with chaos on the job. And it's like, God is not the person of confusion.
Nope, not
so
at all.
It's like, And it was like, God, you died for so many things for me. And it said, by your stripes, I am healed. So everything that's going on with my body right now, everything was going on with me mentally, this is not of God. So it was like just dealing with that, and knew I had a son. And I've always wanted to be a business owner. I always wanted to flourish in my own gift. I'm a people person. I'm a nurturer. Like, I love helping people. I love just sitting down and talking to people and just giving them gems that I have experienced that make it help them in their life. That's what this spiritual journey is about, is speaking the gospel of God, telling his truth of how good he is, and just giving examples of what we have encountered in our life to witness to others about how, hey, this is the way, and it's just me as not being a settled type person where I wanted to just, I'm just gonna get a job and I'm just gonna work it. That's all I want. I just want to work a job. No, that have never been me. I've always wanted to be my own business person. I've always wanted to hire people up under me to help them get to where they want to be. If someone comes up under me, because right now I'm actually looking for a building. This is what and I know I'm speaking into the atmosphere, but I cast down all principalities and everything that tried to come up against this, what I'm about to speak, because I know God is pressing me this way, and what's God? What God has for me is for me. Can't no man take it away. So when this building comes into full flourish, and I place people into positions to where they can do miraculous things within my business, I don't want them to just stay there. If they have a desire to have their own business, I want to help them build their own business so they can go out and do the same thing that I'm doing. And it's just being in that specific spot, because at that time I was making $7.25. Right now that sounds like little itty bitty chump change, but at that time it was, I want to say minimum wage, maybe it was $7.95, but majority of people was making way over $10 at that point. But it was like, God, I know you have more for me. Like, this can't be just what it is. I know you have more. And I was like, I want more. I have a child that I want to show him. Go out and reach for the stars. Don't just stop and settle in this small little country town where you're a black man, and that they're going to try to minimize you to be this small individual to where you can't blossom and be what God has for you to be. Just football is not the only thing you have out. Basketball is not just the only thing you have out. You can go and be an anesthesiologist. You can go and be a doctor. You can be a psychologist. You can be a scientist. You can be the whoever you want to be. But don't just stay here and think that this is all that you have to be and be very small-minded. So at that point, it was like, I wanted more. So when I wanted more, it was like, okay, now I need to sit down. I need to write it down on paper and make it plain. God, this is where I want to be at. This is what I want. So as I started to pray on that and manifesting that and working that and develop that and create the mental mind state of where I want to be, that is when I knew. Like, yes. But this is how I want to move forward.
I understand that you have such a drive and passion behind what you want, which is also feel like it's much needed when you're after something, when you want to get somewhere. It's not gonna come overnight.
Oh no.
It's like you gotta really be passionate about what you want, and then like you have to also like you say, have to make sure that that's what God wants you to do. But you also, when you in it, you have to have a passion for it, a drive for it.
Definitely.
Don't get into something that you just don't want, and that's kind of something I've been dealing with. Just to be I don't want to get complacent because I know this is not what I want. And like you said, you talk about being a business owner. I want to be a business owner. Which and then what you saying, you're a people
not
person.
that you want to be a business owner, when you are a business owner, but when my company become the magnitude of where I want it to be, that's where you have to speak it. You have to speak it as though it is.
Yes, you just helped me out right there. I'm about to jot that down because I be praying over my vision that I have and that what I want, because it's just so much I want to do with and not just like this podcast is like, it's my brand. Building on your success, building on what I wanted to become and what I wanted to flourish.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. But your passion and your drive for what you want, it's amazing. It's beautiful. And I just love hearing when I interview people, hearing that they're passionate about something. Yeah. And this is like the passion that you have behind what you want to do is something that cannot be touched. It cannot be changed. It can't be taken away unless you willingly give it away to somebody.
That's right.
But your passion, your drive is something that you need to protect, especially when it comes down to, because you're going to get a lot of people that's going to tell you, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or I don't think that's made for you. But you have to, first, two things you need to keep. If God tells you this is what he wants you to do, you stick with that. His voice matters more than anybody else.
That's right.
And then two, your passion and your drive. Because God is not, he'll give you the resources to put you where you need to be, but he gonna do his part. You got to do your part.
Definitely. The footwork.
He'll bless you with the resources and put you in the places to be in the right place at the right time with the right people. But what you gonna do with them tools is up to you.
That's it.
That's where your drive and your passion got to come in.
Yes, but you also have to have patience in the midst.
Yes, we need patience.
You have to have the patience, because if you don't have the patience to press your way through all the mountains and speak to those mountains, like mountains be removed, but you also have to have that faith, and you also have to have that mindset that mountain is going to move. Like, I'm not worried about that mountain because I just spoke to this mountain, so it just needs to go ahead and get out of my way. But you have to have the patience to know that I'm going to persevere through all this, because when I wrote down and I thought about my business plan and where I wanted to be, my son is about to be 13 years old. He was 2 at the time. So that's been over 10 years ago, and I'm still pressing my way through. It haven't blossomed how I wanted to blossom, but it will blossom in God's timing. So that's why I said patience is a virtue. You have to have patience.
Girl, you were speaking to me, because I am working on patience. Hey, this is the Just Keep It Real podcast, y'all. If y'all not have gotten the memo since season 1, I don't know what to tell y'all. This is not just one of the former podcasts. Like, this is a podcast where you can come and be authentically real and true to yourself. If you're struggling with something, it is a judgment-free zone over here. Yes. But let me tell y'all something. When I need a patience. That's why when you said you gotta have patience, I laughed. I said, yes, we need a patience. I'm talking to myself.
Me too.
Because being patient is not easy.
It is not easy.
I'm one of people, like, I like to have it quick sometimes, especially when I feel like I've waited long enough for it. I'm like, it should have been here this month, 2 days ago. Why is it taking so long?
But the quickness is not the best thing for you, because sometimes we can move so quick to where we miss the mark.
Yes.
And when we can be just right there, I'm talking about right there, a tenth of a millimeter from being right there at that point to where we boom, blow up. But because we wanted to move so fast, we missed the mark. We missed the blessing because we took up the wrong thing, where we had $5,000 left on a car note, but it's because we wanted to go out here and we wanted to buy this brand new Mercedes when we could have just paid our car off and had a bigger blessing in the end of it.
Yes.
We can miss the mark, and it'd be so simple or so close to the mark of being shy of patience to where we can miss that one key word that God trying to show us. That only took maybe 5 seconds, only took us 6 months, or only took us 1 minute. That could cause us jeopardy of a lifetime of issues, or that could cause us 10 more years of issues just by not having patience.
Patience is important. Praying God can continue to give me some more patience to be patient and wait.
Like, please, God, give me patience. Jesus.
Give me patience. I'm telling you, that's my prayer every day. I'm like, Lord, I need patience, especially working in the field. What? I'm like, Lord, I'm gonna need you to come down and grant me some patience. Shay, sometimes I just gotta. Sometimes, like, everybody has their way of praying. Sometimes when I pray, I have a certain way of praying. But sometimes I gotta talk to God like I'm talking to my friend or something.
Yes.
With all respect, with respect. Let me say that. With respect. But I gotta talk to him like we having a conversation. I'm like, Lord, hey, I'm struggling now. I'm drowning. I'm drowning right now. I'm drowning in this area. This is all I got. My back is up against the wall. I'm trying. I'm trying. But
Lord, listen.
I need you. I need you like right now. Like Smokey Morpho said, he said he needs you right away. I need you right away. Right away. Like not even like don't tarry no more. I need you to come on, cause this situation right here. I'm gonna need you to come in and rectify it, cause they don't see me. They don't know me like that. Where I've been. You know who you delivered. You know the stuff to do. So like I said, like I said, I have my days when I pray to him, but then I got some days when I just gotta talk to him. I gotta be real. We being real on the Just Keeping Real podcast. I gotta talk to him sometimes. I mean, however audience, however you choose to pray, that is nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, your host, sometimes I gotta talk to him. I do.
Sometimes you have to do that because everybody prayer the way they pray is different. Everybody language and tongues is different. And so it's like whatever your relationship is with God at that time, that's how a person is going to pray. If they are fresh, new Christian in Christ, their prayer is not going to be the same as another person that's been 5 years into being a Christian of Christ. So it's like it depends where you're at in your journey. Everybody's not, some people look at people when they be in church and they'll just be like, like they'll prejudge somebody where they just like sitting there all quiet with their head down. You don't know what that person is doing. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know where they at in their journey. And then some people you may see them, shouting it or speaking in tongues or just crying or they just, utterance. You don't know. So it's the same in your prayer walk to where your prayer is going to be different. Sometimes you can be strong in your walk. And then you just be like, if you weak at that point or if you just struggling, whatever it may be that you're going through, you got to just talk to him. Be like, God, I don't know how to get this out, so I'm just going to say it.
Did that part?
Sometimes you have to do that in order just to give it to him because you don't know how else to give it to him. So within that moment, however you feel like it's a release for you, that's how you release it. Because you're saying, God, I surrender. I just give it to you because I can't do this alone by myself. You got to handle this.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is, that's how you have to give it to God and just surrender it all over to him, no matter if it's something you need to change in or you just say, God, I want to go in a whole nother different direction. Lord, show me the way. Show me the light. Put people in place to where they can direct me and help me to change my ways. Yeah. So it's all a part of your walk with God and where you're at. And then it doesn't matter how you pray or how you talk to God, as long as it's respectful. We got and understandable.
It's respectful.
Respect now.
Don't go over there charging them up now. Don't do that.
Yeah. Ooh, because that chastisement, honey. Ooh,
don't do that. Don't do that.
That's right there. Ooh,
that's a whole nother. Ain't no whooping like God's whooping. That's a whole nother.
Like, Lord, ooh, I'm sorry, Jesus. Lord,
I didn't even say it that way, but I just had so much passion and expression at that time.
Give you something like no other. Ooh,
yes.
Girl, yes, but patience.
We gotta have it. It's needed. It's definitely needed. But that actually puts us like, we done covered so many questions within the question.
Yes, okay, God. We works it all night.
See, look at that. We in agreement.
That's it. He said, like we said, when 2 or 3 got hey, that's an agreement that I will be out.
There it is. There it is.
He will be in the midst.
There it is. So it brought down to a point where I was gonna just to give a little small backstory of a time where I had a change in my life and how did I handle it. And I had so many changes, but let's go with the most recent change. Okay. So I'm currently still in college, I'm close. I feel like graduation is so far away. But everybody I tell, like, graduation's not that far. And I'm like, yes, it is. But I've changed my major. Everybody's been like a typical college student. We changed our major like 5 times.
Oh, Lord.
I honestly haven't changed it 5 times, but I'm just saying, you have people that change their major because they just don't have a good concrete feeling of what they want. Right. The beginning stages of college, that's what college is for you to figure out what you want and what you want to do. I mean, with me on the other hand, I've been through different channels. I went from originally being criminal justice and actually going through the criminal justice system to actually become a police officer or be a correctional officer. That didn't work out. And the last situation I had, it hurt me because I was like, okay, this is just a change. Then I went into being a business trying to do business and management. But I felt like there was a piece, like they said, I didn't have that drive for it. I just went to it because that's the only thing people were telling me, like, oh, get a business degree. It goes this way. And I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll get it. But I didn't have a passion for business. Yeah. So I had been in business for all that time, just taking business classes, doing all this stuff. And I was just doing it. But like I said, I didn't have a passion for it. But I got to the point where I am now. I switched to media. And I feel like media is somewhere I flourish. I love talking to people. I love meeting people. I love, I'm a very creative person. I like to, do different things. That's why, like I said, I have so many different projects that's gonna come into play, and it's gonna be in productions. I'm speaking it into existence, as you can see. People gonna be trying to buy the books and stuff, but
oh yes, definitely
speak it into existence. Speak it and declare it.
That's it, but be specific
of what you want. Exactly. But it's like with this change I had, how did I adjust to it? Because I didn't really think media was something for me. So at first I was hesitant to it, and then I had doubts in it. I was like, how can I flourish in this? And then I want to be able to travel. There's a lot of other different things that I love to do. And I'm like, I want to have a job that can take care of me, where I can do what I want to do.
Absolutely.
And then I was just like, I had to get in alignment with God. I had to seek Him and really make sure that this is this is the move that I needed to make. At first, I wasn't accepted to the change. I didn't want to change because I felt like, how can I grow in media? And because of the world we live in, I'm gonna be honest, I looked at the media industry. I looked at the entertainment industry that we have, and there's things that they do that I am not okay with, and that I would never. That I know I wouldn't want to do. That I would not do. I just wouldn't do it. It's a lot. I mean, they do what they do. No judgment over here. They do what they do. Everybody got to give an account. That's their account, not mine.
Exactly.
I'm worried about my collar. I ain't worried about nothing else.
Right.
But I just knew there were some things that I would be encounter with that I would not stand for. So I knew, I was like, God, how can I say, why would you send me into this? You see what they do? And you want me, of all people, to go into here and do what? this is my thoughts now. Of course, I'm not talking to God like this, but this is just what I was thinking, because I'm like, how can I go into this media field and do all this stuff? But then it's so awesome. I got where I would just look, just different people that I started watching or had been watching, like Priscilla Sheard, an amazing woman of God. Wow. I just saw how she and I saw an interview she did, how she was talking about how she got into it, and then I started reading the books, and started reading one of her books, Unexpected Circumstances. So when you go in a certain way, that's kind of what we talked about, the change of direction. How she was going one way for her career, and then she had to go another way.
Right.
So I was just like, when I started reading this book and I started understanding it, and I was just like, wow, God, and he's still taking care of her. And look at her, she's flourishing, she's doing, and I was like, God will make room for what He wants you to do.
Exactly, He sure will.
You doing something, and it don't matter what they doing. You doing it His way.
Right.
So when I understood that, and I started and God really started to begin to deal with me, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm open to it. So when I adjust to it, it was hard. Of course, with college, you gotta switch advisors and go through the proper channels, and that it was so many meetings I had to do, and then on top of dealing with working and trying to manage a social life, it was just so much going on. I did not like things like that. back to back. I said, I can't even have a lunch break without being in a meeting. I was just like, so. But I was complaining, but then I was just like, I was listening to radio, and I Won't Complain came on, and I was just like,
that's it. Look, that what came to my spirit when you said
that. I won't complain. Look at that. I won't complain. I've had some hills to climb. I was like,
I know, Lord, that's right.
I was like, Lord, just help me not to complain. I was like, at the end, when I get to where God wants me to be, it has for me to be. Everything I've done from that point to then will all be worth it.
All be worth it.
So it helped me, and every time when I get to complain, I have to play that song. It's like, you know what? I won't complain.
That's it.
I won't complain. And then looking back to where I wasn't having, but now that I made the switch into media and I'm passionate about it, I love being able to talk to different people and reach audience and just be able to help people and just share what I've been through, to hoping that it'll touch their life, that God using me to be the light to them, so where they can get their life right. Or even if they don't, if it's not in that moment, but it's just like you plant a seed with them.
Right.
And then they go out and do the same thing. That's like the passion. And with media, there's so many different things you can do that touches people. Right. And with my creativity, the way I like to do it, it just like, it goes beyond.
Yeah.
Like the vision, when I really started putting what I want to do on paper and see and looking at how far it could go.
Yeah.
Not with the world, but how far God can take it.
Right.
I'm just like, whoa.
It's unlimited.
It's unlimited. I'm like, sometimes I want to go international. And man, like, I need to think about going international. But I'm just like, for how far, it's like, there's no limit with God.
No limit at all.
Like, you want to go this way? Okay, we can go. It's just like, whoa. It's like, but that helped me. And that's another thing that excites me about it. I said, you know what, Lord, when you take me there, you gonna take me there in your timing.
That's it.
And then you prepare me in the meantime to be able to handle
Come on now.
Yeah. See? Like I said, like the interviews, like I be interviewing people, really it helps me too. Because like I said, I've been dealing with that, like, just kind of feeling hesitant, when things don't seem as moving in your way.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta, like I said, it's not my way.
It's His way.
Not my will, but thy will.
But thy will be done.
So it helped me to really just be okay with the change that I made. And understanding that, this is a time where I'm learning. Just starting, like I said, I had to start, like you're talking about the steps. I had to start at step 1 all over again. I was just like, I gotta go. And then, I started step 1, but now it doesn't matter what step I'm on, but the fact that I'm here. I never thought I would be doing a podcast again, because I did have a YouTube channel that I was doing, but I was in YouTube for all the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But But to know that I had another opportunity to do it now, and that I'm still sticking with it, even though
Right.
not looking at what everybody says I should be having, but looking at where I'm at and being content with it. I'm just like, God, you glorify.
Right. Oh yes,
I'm
definitely.
like very happy, very content with the change that I made.
Yes,
But
definitely.
that's just like a little small story, y'all. I don't want to tell because we got some deep questions we finna get into. So I didn't want to take up too much of the time. Which brings up, since I mentioned what the world be doing, let's go ahead and talk about, why do you feel it's so hard for people to change?
I feel like it's hard for people to change because some of it has a lot to do with their upbringing from family roots. It has a lot to do with the circle that they surround themselves with. It has a lot to do if they know God or they don't know God. Do they believe in God or they don't believe in God? That has a lot to do with it. And a lot of it is that a lot of our people don't have the resources. We don't have a lot of resources into our community. And that is what sometimes hinder people from change, because if they don't know better, how can they do better?
Yeah.
So it's just like, and then also some people want to have this certain image of what they think that they supposed to look like or supposed to operate like, or how they supposed to move, because of so much on social media, so much stuff on in the entertainment world, that some people don't change, or some people just may be scared. But it's within that person and what's around that person that sets them in a stay still position.
Yeah, that is. I'm gonna add a little bit to that. I feel like people, why it's hard for people to either change to change is because they don't want to change.
Yeah.
Like I said, we talked about that being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They are comfortable. They feel like this is where they at. They have reached the highest of highs, so they don't
Right.
want to change. And when you try to bring it to them that they need to change, you just insulted them.
Yeah, they want to fight you.
They was like, what?
Be like, wait. I'm just
What you
trying
mean
to
I
help
need
you.
to change, folks? Like,
Yes.
I'm at the top of the food chain. Like, what?
Or if they just stuck in their ways.
That too. Very much. They just don't want to. They comfortable.
They
They feel like they good where they at. And you know what? Everybody has their own timing when they actually, like I said, we talked about being forced to change. Everybody has their own timing. And it may not be their timing, but you know, as of I feel like people just don't want to change because they like what they do.
Yep, that's it.
They like it. It's soothing to them, whatever they be doing. But that's another reason. Now, another question I have, do you think it's possible for people to be in denial when it comes to their directions being changed?
Yes. They will be in so much denial of needing change, is because their outlook or their foresee on what their life should look like may not align in what you see, to where they are in so much of denial to where they have spoke this on themselves or spoke this into themselves so much that they believe it. And so when it comes to where you come to them and tell them about this change that may need to occur, they think you crazy.
Yep.
Or they want to fight you, or they want to be combative and not hear what you're saying versus trying to receive it. And I think the denial comes from scaredness. The denial can come from want to be combative because you think you more than me, so I ain't finna listen to you. The denial can come from so many areas of emotions mental state, spiritual walk, family upbringing, generation curses. So many things can play into that person just being in denial of needing to change.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. I do feel like people do be in denial when it comes down to change. It's like you literally said all your whole answer. Some of my answers tied into that. So we both agree that you can't be in denial when it comes to change.
No, at all.
You can definitely be in denial.
Be like, listen, you want to stay there or you want to move forward?
What you want to do? Let me know.
Let's see.
So this is kind of a question that it kind of ties into both of us. Do you feel like a change is needed in direction?
Every now and then a person do need change. Because for you to grow, you have to have change.
Right.
Because when you say I am growing, meaning I am moving in a different direction. So you are changing positions. You're changing platforms. You're changing your spiritual walk. You're changing your foresee of where you're going. You're changing the way you walk. You're changing the way you talk. You're changing your image. You're changing the way that you're thinking. You're changing the way your children see you. You're changing the way that you operate on the outside. You change the way that you're walking into a business room. You're changing so many directions. So it affects a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're walking in it, you're walking in change.
Wow. And I also feel like a change, like you said, a change is needed. If you're going to grow, you do need a change.
Yes.
Because you can't grow doing the same thing. Because what helped you got to this point is not what helped you get to the next point. What got you to point A can't take you to point B and can't take you to C, D, and all the way through till you get to C. It can't do that.
Because you have to think of it as a little child. Mm-hmm. As a little child, they go all the way from an infant. So what is a child doing? They're growing. So when they're growing, what is their features and their body doing? It's changing.
Mm-hmm.
So change and grow go hand in hand because you have to change something to be able to grow. So you can't change without growing.
Exactly.
They got to go hand in hand. You can't have
one without the other.
Right?
You can't. You really can't. Wow. It's funny how we literally all we talked about our last 3 questions. We've already answered them.
Like, hey.
We have already answered because the last question was where does change start with? And we both said the mind.
Yeah.
In the beginning of our conversation.
It starts in your mind. Because just a small story from my back history. A lot of people wouldn't know it by just talking to me. But I was the only child. And I think I shared it with Bishop. I did share it with Bishop. But as a child, and even when I first got with my husband, he didn't believe me. I was told I was fat. I told I was sloppy. I was lazy. Nobody would ever want me. Whenever I wouldn't be nothing as a child. My husband didn't believe me until I gave him my diary. And he read my diary for himself. And he was like, wow, I never thought like this was real. I said, yes, I don't have any reason to lie. And it has took me years, even with getting pregnant in the 10th grade and having been taken to have an abortion. Having to overcome that. And then going through life, and every boyfriend that I've had has been ran off because something was wrong with them. And even as an adult, being verbally, physically abused toward me and toward my boyfriends at that time, and husbands at that time. and even went through a verbal abuse in my current marriage, not from my husband, but toward my husband and toward myself, to where it has affected me for years, ever since I was probably like 10 years old. Probably before then, but my diary started when I was at 10 years old. And now I'm 36. And every boyfriend and I've been married prior before. I had one previous husband. Everyone wasn't strong enough to sustain the pressure from my family, from this significant other person that has caused all this damage. No one has ever been strong enough to stand with me until I met my current husband now, Carl. Carl never left me. He said, I'm not going nowhere. And it was at that point I felt a security blanket to where I can change. I have someone that has my back, to where now I feel like I can sit upright. I can think about my future that I want to do because I have this person that got my back. It was at that point to where he helped me to emotionally heal. He helped me in so many ways that he don't even know that he helped me. And it's such a blessing to actually have him as my husband, but as my best friend. Because when we right now still get bombarded and hit with stuff from that person, we both have to talk to each other and fight. It's just like we rebuke that devil name, just like whatever, to where it usually would hold me into a closed-in area to where I'm secluded to myself, to where I didn't talk to nobody. I just journaled in my journal, to where I would not want to move forward in my dreams. I always wanted to do everything pleasing to that person, but when it was never declared as pleasing, it was never glorified. It was never, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. I knew you could do it. It was never given praise to. But I was always trying to feed into what they wanted, what made them happy. Whenever I wanted to make a change or a movement in my life, the first thing that would pop to my mind was, oh, what they gonna say about it? What they gonna think about it? Oh, I don't think they probably gonna like that. I wouldn't want to make that change for myself, and that would be something I wanted to change for myself. But because of what that person would possibly think or say or do toward me or the other person or whatever that situation was at that point, I didn't make a change. Until I got with my husband, and it was destined, and that's how I can really truly say he's my person. Because when we got together, us not even talking for over 13 years, and we came back together because we dated when we was in high school, and we separated and went our own separate ways, did our own thing. He graduated high school 2 years early, so went to college at 16. We just kind of separated and then came back together 13 years later, and we still strong. And so it's like now I'm flourishing in everything that I wanted to change all those years. But if it wasn't for the help of my husband and God be the glory to bring my husband first of all, but also with the help of him being in my life and helping me to create change in my life so that I can really see what I want in my future and pray about it and ask God for it, and he helped me to flourish in my change. That is where I'm at today. So it's like I went through a lot of changing channels, a lot of patience, and a lot of enduring to be the changed person that I am today. Today is not the person that I was 26 years ago. It wasn't the person that I was 8 years ago. I'm definitely not the person that I was 6 years ago. And surely wasn't the person that I was 2 years ago. Me and my husband it'll be 5 years, July 23rd, that we've been married. We've been together for 6 years. But we have known each other for over 18 years. So it's like whenever you're wanting change, that's why a lot of things plays a big factor in your life. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, because we're keeping it real.
Yes.
I still have that unction to think what that person would say, what that person would do. But then I'm like, nope, we're not going backwards. We're gonna stay right here, and we're moving forward. We're gonna create good change. So, creating your change, and redirecting yourself in a good way is always good, because I still have to redirect myself into change whenever I find myself off my path, and I have to bring myself back too. So because of my past and to where I'm at now, and a lot of generational curses, because me and one of my older cousins was talking, and they was like, she said, you know what? And we're more like sisters than cousins. And she say, you know what I realized? She say, everybody that I got married in our family is divorced. Everybody. And I was like, you're right. You is right. And she was like, Lisa, that's what they call me, my nickname. She said, we have to be the change in this generational curse, because something is a hold of our family, and we got to be the change. So that generational curse fights me all the time still, because they will try to find fault in my husband. They were trying to find fault in our marriage. Every single day, it's not a day go by that me and my husband are not fighting. Like literally fighting the spirit, not fighting physically, but fighting spiritually with the enemy. Because the enemy is always against us, because we're not flourishing in that generational curse. They try to find the negative out of everything. Even like, you're on my Facebook page. Whenever I make just special posts about my husband, how I'm so thankful for him. And they go and make comments about why she got to put that on Facebook. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not show the change? Why not show the gratefulness? Why not show the good? It's so much bad on social media and trickery on social media. Why not show the good? So that's where I'm at far as my change. I'm currently working on going back to nursing school, because I have like 135 credits for my RN to be a registered nurse. Practically, I'm only missing my clinicals. So you say, well, what are you waiting on? Like, what's stopping you? It's that overcoming that's stopping me, because I'm too much in my own head, and it's the what ifs that's hindering me. It's the yes, I won't change. It's the what direction I'm supposed to go. So right now it's in the praying stage of God, give me directions, give me instructions, because I won't change. Because I have my decoration business for the events and stuff, but I also want my own family practice. I do want to be a nurse practitioner, um, to operate in where I'm speaking life into my patients. We have so many doctors working in the medical field. We have so many doctors that's just in it for the money, or they don't care about their patients. They just want to care about their numbers, or they just want to care about their percentages. They don't care about their patients. I want to sit down and take time with my patients to where they are actually being treated. I am actually nourishing them. I'm speaking life into them. I want to be that change that what I see right now, everyday basis. I don't want to be that. I want to be that change. So that's where I'm at in my life right now.
That was such an amazing and beautiful story that actually brought us to like our wrapping up question. You answered it within your story, which I feel like it was much needed to hear. It was very encouraging to know that where you were then, you're not now, and just seeing how God has brought you through from point A to now. It's beautiful to hear. And thank you for being so open to sharing that. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with sharing their past. But hey, like I said, this is a judgment-free zone. You're more than welcome to open and I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry for being just open, just being open and just sharing your experiences. That's all. And knowing people that have a platform to come out and be comfortable and share that. That's right. What I want to be able to give to people that I bring on the show. So you know that you're more than welcome to open to share your story, because somebody may need to hear that.
Exactly.
It is not just me. It's just somebody else that may stumble up in here and just like, wow, and just it may encourage them along the way to just keep going, right. Keep pushing, which I feel like it was beautiful to hear that. And I'm grateful that God did keep you. He did bring you all the way here to where you are now, and just glory be to God for what He has done for you. Amen. In your life. And I just for guys, that brings us to the closing. I just want to thank you again, Jaliscia, for coming onto the show and being a part of it, and just being so open and transparent, and just sharing your experience with Change of Direction and being a part of the show. Is there any other comments that you would like to have before we close?
No, just thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself anytime. Just let me know.
You're more than welcome. Thank you again. All right, guys, that's going to close our episode. I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion, our chuckles in between, because y'all, this is fun. It's funny being real. It's so fun just being real. It's so funny because the truth shall set you free.
That's it. That's it right there.
It's like when you know the truth, and it's just so much fun because you know it's true.
Exactly.
It's so much fun being truthful.
No,
being in the truth, not right. Being in the truth, not just knowing the truth, but being in the truth. It's fun. Right. It's fun. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget to follow her social media platforms and follow her husband's social media platforms, Such as Radio. All this will be in the description below, as well as don't forget to tune in, guys, to more episodes to come. We are still moving the ball forward with season 2. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms at The Real Makala for Instagram and on TikTok. Make sure you guys stay tuned for many, many more updates. Also, don't forget to show love to the Just Keep It Real podcast Instagram, as well as everything else. But thank you guys so much. You guys stay blessed, stay real, and keep it real always. We'll see you guys till next time.